पदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातान् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, uh, we are going to begin with the second unit of your Bhakti Shastri or Bhagavad Gita. And in that, I've been told to cover chapter 7 to chapter 12. And this is a section where Rajvi Krishna speaks about Bhakti. Uh, so, I feel very privileged. I feel a great fortune in getting an opportunity and speaking this particular section of Bhagavad Gita, which is called as the heart of the Bhagavad Gita, to all of you. And in this journey of making discussing with you all chapter 7 to chapter 12, uh, I hope I'll be it will be a good reading that myself I have to do it. That's why I feel a great fortune, and I'll try my best that I give some benefit to you all also. So I generally, how many devotees are there in this batch? I don't know. Tejasu, how many devotees are there in this batch?
Maybe 28, 30 are there.
Ah, okay. But so less are there. Anyhow, so you can maybe whatever you wish to do, you can do your thing. I'll begin with the first shloka of the seventh chapter. So actually, you all very well have completed the chapter 1 to 6, and I heard Kadam Kanam Prabhu has taught you all, and I'm very sure he would have taught you a very interesting way. I don't know whether I'll be able to keep that particular way of interest, um, but I'll try my best. So, chapter 7 actually, as it's been said, it's the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna spoke. He wanted to keep the knowledge, the most important knowledge in the middle, so that it is protected from both the sides. So in this particular series of shlokas and chapters 7 to 12 is about Bhakti Yoga, and uh, the first six chapter actually the first six chapter actually talks about that you know uh, how actually karma and a gyan process is also a way to attain liberation. So the first six chapter talks about that gyan gyan and ashtang, sorry, not karma. Gyan and ashtang yoga is the way to attain liberation, and the process for attaining and the process is gyan, Ashtanga yoga, Ashtang, and it's been said it depends upon Nishkam Karma Yoga to get liberation. The process is Gyan and Ashtang, which has been mentioned in the first six chapter mainly, but it depends on Niskam Karma Yoga. That is why the third chapter and the fifth chapter do talks about it. It depends on that because what happens when somebody is doing Nishkam Karma Yoga, it first purifies the heart. So that is how actually the person eventually, by the method of following Ashgyan and Ashtang, he gets liberation. Whereas the middle six chapters, which we are going to read right now, in this Bhakti has been explained. But you will see some slokas in this particular section of middle six chapter, chapter 7 to 12, will talk about Bhakti, which will yield liberation, other types of liberation, which devotees generally don't look for. Means which like Salokya, Saristi, Salokya, Samipya, and all those things also. And yeah, so that bhakti is also been explained because chapter 7 to 12 will also have some verses which will talk about mixture of karma and jnana and other elements. And there will be some shlokas in this section of chapter 7 to 12 which talks about main type of bhakti which yields no, which yields liberation of the category that it may gives us it awards us love for Krishna and makes a person practitioner of it attain become an associate of the Lord. So these two type of bhakti is been will be spoken in this chapter 7 to 12 by Krishna. So the second type of bhakti, which is actually the bhakti, the Kevala bhakti, because see, there are three kinds of bhakti. There are three kinds of bhakti has been spoken. Um, Guni Bhut Bhakti, Pradhana Bhut Bhakti, and Kevala Bhakti, right? Na? So Gunibhuta Bhakti is what? Gunibhuta Bhakti is something where actually the Bhakti is mixed with Karma and Gyan, but the Karma and Gyan is the primary and the Bhakti is the secondary. This is a गुणीभूत भक्ति. आप समझ सकते हो वर्ड से ही गुणीभूत है, गुण है इसमें, यानी गुण का मात्रा ज्यादा है. तो कर्म और ज्ञान का मिश्र ज्यादा है, भक्ति का कम है. Bhakti is just choose as an element to gain whatever they wish to gain. That is Guni Bhut Bhakti. Second is, higher to that is Pradhani Bhut Bhakti. In this Bhakti also, the Karma and is Bhakti, and the secondary is Karma and Mishra. Karma and Gyan. Sorry. No. So this is Pradhani Bhut Bhakti. And Kevala Bhakti is a Bhakti, is Ananya Bhakti. You know, where there is no tinge of Karma and Gyan also. Is only Bhakti, and the goal is to attain love for Krishna. Now that's it. So these are three kinds of Bhakti. So Guni Bhut, Pradhani Bhut, Kevala Bhakti. So Krishna speaks about, in chapter 7 to 12, he talks about two kinds of bhakti, Kevala Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti, and the second, the Pradhani Bhut Bhakti. Right? Na? So this is, and you can say the chapter, if you want to talk about in that way, then we can mention that the chapter 1 to 6 we can say as a Gunibhut Bhakti over there, the third type, the last one, because because Bhakti is in minimal, Karma and Gyan is more. We can say like that. But chapter 7 to 12 it talks about the first two, means Kevala and Pradhani Bhut Bhakti, third is Gunibhut Bhakti. So but now, no, so this particular chapter of or section, rather, right now I'm introducing the section of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7 to 12 to you. Um, is actually so when it's been said this particular section awards us Kevala Bhakti also. So somebody may say that the bhakti which you are talking about, Kevala Bhakti, okay, is independent of karma and jnana, and and can award swarga and moksha without, without performance of any other process. See, actually, bhakti is such a process where I'm going to tell you in short about Kevala Bhakti over here. See, in 11th canto, actually, there's a verse which talks about very nicely, in Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Yat karma bhir, yat tapasa, jnana vairagya sarcha yat, yogena dana dharmena shreyo api. Means what? Whatever is achieved by fruitive activities, by penance, by knowledge, all those detachment, mystic yoga, charity, religious duty, everything, whatever is attained by these activities, a person attains naturally by performing bhakti. है ना? If somehow other, Krishna says over there, the Lord says, my devotee desires, suppose even promotion to heaven, liberation, and all those, he can easily achieve such benediction. Somehow, if we somehow, and it is like, no, generally it is not the case, but somehow somebody is, but he will attain it. So, no, so bhakti, Ananya Bhakti is very powerful. It's something which is, that's why, it said that, uh, you know, bhakti is bhakti once is achieved, nothing else remains to be achieved because everything is included in the bhakti. Uh, so, so that is why actually the bhakti part is very prominent, being spoken over here in 7 to 12 chapters, chapter 7 to 12 by Krishna. So, but somebody, may say that, see, sir, you know, there are other methods also by which one surpasses death. You know, how can you say that without knowledge, just by bhakti, one attains liberation? So actually, somebody may say like that, but one has to understand because Shruti says about that tam eva viditva iti mrityumiti. Knowing it, one surpasses death. You know? So, but some people say that's why, see, by knowing it, by knowledge, one surpasses death. How you are saying just by bhakti one has attained liberation only? There are other methods also. No, no, no. That's not the meaning. No, it's been said that by knowing what we should know that one surpasses death. है ना? There's a famous Shruti mantra, that's why I'm quoting to you all. You may be saying, क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं? But I'm saying because there's a very famous way of, they quote half of this, tam eva viditva, it ati mrityumiti. And one just surpasses death by knowing. And knowing what? They don't talk about. What is to be known? Is what is required to be known is about the Lord, not just about knowing about Atma Gyan. One can't surpass that just by knowing he is not the body, spirit, soul. No, no. One has to know Paramatma. Minimum, and having a direct realization of Paramatma, one surpasses that. It never says that just by knowing the individual soul or the Prakriti or any existing object at all, one surpasses death. Knowledge, when it's been said, is about the Lord. And surely the knowledge of the Lord includes the knowledge of one's own self as a soul, as a servant of the Lord. See, the analogy being spoken is that you know uh, it is said that tasting sugar is a function of tongue. Right? Now, taste, anything we taste is through the tongue, especially eatable, not to the eye or the ear. Right? Now? So, same way, the cause of tasting the Lord or the Parabrahman is bhakti only. It is not karma and yoga. It's not possible to grasp the Parabrahman, the Lord, by by any other method. It is impossible. Bhaktya ek grahya. Or in Bhagavad Gita itself it will come Bhaktya mam abhijanati. यावन या चा अस्मि तत्वतः. And only by bhakti I am known, not by any other method. Because any other method, you know, is not capable. Others method of jnana and ashtang is you know, can lead us to surpass death even when there is an element of bhakti included into it. So this you will understand in the more you will get to understand uh, in the Bhagavatam how about that element of adding of bhakti only leads even the Jnana and Ashtanga method to award us even liberation. That you will learn over there. But be very clear because here the section is opening of bhakti. That is why I am telling you the greatness of the bhakti. And that is why Krishna is speaking about the bhakti, not to Arjuna. So we should be very clear that one has to come to the level of practicing Ananya Bhakti right now. Because everything that we are doing in Bhakti is finally to go back to Godhead. As Prabhupada very emphatically said in a majority of his lectures, he said to go back to Godhead or to attain love of Godhead. So that is only possible by this method. There is no other method in that can award us this. So, so many things can be spoken about this this Ananda Bhakti, but be very clear that uh, that actually uh, uh, all these that is even uh, dharma artha kama moksha which has been even without which leads to dharma artha kama moksha. The persons who surrender to Narayan attains the goal. So somebody who might not be doing, his dharma artha kama moksha part also, may not be doing his varna ashram duty also, but he is performing bhakti, he can attain the goal. Bhakti is so powerful. As such, this varna ashram duty is very important for a man to be sane. But it says that somebody gives up varnashram also, of a duty of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, Sannyas, but does bhakti alone will be awarded. Will be awarded what? To attain the highest thing, the love of Godhead. So this is power of Ananda Bhakti. So simple it is. You know, so simple it is that so simple and powerful it is. Powerful also. That it just one takes just one catches the process of bhakti, he is awarded. He doesn't he doesn't have to look here and there. That is why bhakti is called as a highway where one can close his eyes and run. He will attain perfection. He doesn't have to think about ये गया वो गया क्या हुआ कुछ नहीं. He will attain perfection for sure. That because of this greatness of this bhakti, Krishna is now introducing uh, the element of bhakti, the path of bhakti in these middle six chapters of Bhagavad Gita. है ना? And amazing is, majority of the other chapters of Bhagavad Gita begins because of some question being asked by Arjuna. Or some question was asked in the previous chapter and Krishna is continuing over here. But chapter 7, which is a beginning now, is not about, is no question been asked. He has asked which kind of yoga is the highest, and Krishna has concluded in the 6.47 Yoginam api sarvesham madgater antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yoma. He has very openly told, no, he is the highest man. So now Krishna, by his own merciful demeanor and his own interest in this path of bhakti, he is continuing to explain, or by himself, he has started explaining the process of bhakti to Arjuna. He has nothing, no question been asked by Arjuna at that time. Sir, वो भक्ति कैसे करते हैं? नहीं नहीं, कुछ नहीं पूछा गया है. भगवान अपने से बोल बोल रहे हैं. So this there's a one word for this particular chapter has been said by our acharyas. It is a karuna is a karuna it shows the merciful, compassionate, loving heart of the Lord and how much he likes bhakti. That even without asking, Arjuna is not asking also, he is continuing to speak. No, the process of bhakti, beginning in the chapter 7, the first verse itself. So this is why, no, this is what is so the importance of Vandana Bhakti makes us understand why Krishna has kept this section, the Bhakti section in the middle. That's very important, and he's speaking it very profoundly over here. So now beginning the officially, I'm beginning with the chapter 7. No, so chapter 7, I hope all of you might have Subodhani, and some of you might have also the book of S.B. Keshav Swami Maharaj, where he actually speaks about Sutapa Prabhu, earlier his name was, where he acronym of the Bhagavad Gita's chapter, he has given it. So I'm not going to that you all can read by your own. Small chapters are there, 2 page chapters where acronym has been explained. But just for clarity, I'm going to speak about the sections which is there in this particular chapter, so that you are very clear how the flow will go. So in Subodhani, actually, this is there, which is there. No, chapter 7, verse number 1 to 3. He speaks about the glory of the knowledge about Krishna. The verse number 4 to 12 speaks about knowledge of Lord Krishna's energies, where Krishna is going to speak about that the phenomenal and the nominal, both the knowledges, he's going to give, then that it is all mine. Then verse number 13 to 19, he speaks about the glories of surrendering unto him. And people, four types of people who surrender to him, four types don't surrender to him. No. And then 20 to 25, he talks about demigod worship and impersonalism. Because obviously a question comes, surrendering to you, my dear Lord, is okay. But somebody doesn't surrender to you, but surrenders to demigod worship and impersonalism or impersonalist aspect of you. Then what happens to them? Krishna speaks in 20 to 25. And then finally, he speaks about some people who finally he speaks in the last five shlokas, 26 to 30, about those kind of people who are deluded by Maya. Deluded Maya. But from delusion to Maya to devotion to Krishna, how somebody can attain it, that he speaks in the last five shlokas, 26 to 30. So this is about the in a broad way the division of this chapter, the sections in this particular chapter. Do you have any questions, Prabhu, on this till now what I have spoken? Because it is just a one-sided thing. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can you please repeat from first to 12th chapter the division? Sorry, from first to 12th verse the division of this chapter. I have not heard properly.
Okay. Okay, better I'll show you. You all see it. See, this is this one. This is Subodhani. It's very simple. Actually, you all are Bhakti Shastri student. My request is two books you must refer, along with Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. That's the most prominent one. Is Gita Subodhani makes it very clear, and Surrender unto Me. Now, these are very two books which should be read along with uh, reading of Bhagavad. So here now, as you see, as I'm showing you, the first three talks about the glory about knowledge of Lord Krishna. The 4 to 12 talks about knowledge of Lord Krishna's energy, phenomenal and nominal. Both he's going to speak about it over here. And then he speaks about surrendering to Krishna. Is it fine?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh. So, so I have one question to all of you. Individually, you can raise your hand. How many of you before this day, where we are beginning with chapter 7 to 12, have already read Prabhupada's purport throughout? मतलब आपने पढ़ा है पहले 7 to 12? हाथ उठाइए. Okay, very good. Yeah, Tejasvu, can you help me? How much percentage of devotees have read it before? Approx.
Prabhuji, 9 devotees have out of 20. 10, 11,
Uh, 10,
50%.
11, 50%. Okay. My humble request is actually you all should have read it before. Then I have to focus more on just Prabhupada purport. I'll not go here there. Well, that's the most important thing. Okay. So now begin with the chapter is verse number 1. So I'll just show you. There is a very famous shloka. Okay, this shloka may not be over here with me. Let me see. In my, it is the first shloka is not there. No. They're able to see it or it's so we'll recite it together. You can recite at your own end with me only. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Partha Yogam Yunjam Madashraya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Takshruno. So, uh, now Tejasvi, you have to divide who will read. I'm not going to do that part.
Ah, yes.
You can tell the devotees to read. They can read two, three till a point, and then two, three shlokas, and then others can read it. So this is the verse which is on which Krishna Prabhupada has given the maximum lecture on Bhagavad Gita. There's a actually many lectures has been given because a prominence of this shloka, the way Prabhupada is explaining is Takshrunu. Prabhupada was very focused on making us understand that hearing is a very important process. So he chose to spoke on this shloka because of me and all these lectures that you will see, he is mainly focusing on this word, the last word, Takshrunu. Okay, one of you read the translation, Prabhu. Just to tell anybody to read.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt.
So Krishna is very clearly speaking about that. Now he has naturally, Yogi Nama Sarvesvam say, because Mad Gater Antaratman was spoken over there. Now Krishna is speaking it very clearly. That how you can attain me and how you'll become free of doubt. So I'll show you Prabhupada purport and read the yellow portion which I have highlighted, the highlighted one, yellow or pink, whatever you see. Read the purport, bro.
In this seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described.
So just wait when the highlights ends over there. This is very important. The seventh chapter nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Because Krishna's full opulence and how he manifests that opulence and which kind of people surrender to him, how to surrender to him, has also been spoken. That's the nature of Krishna consciousness fully described. Prabhupada uses very typical, see, in the nature of Krishna is fully described, he has described the entire seventh chapter. No, when he's saying about the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Now read, the first six chapter.
The first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of sixth chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise.
Yeah. So, no, so Krishna, Prabhupada is writing that first six chapter talks about, which I have been already been explained to you. But the last verse, Mad Gater Antaratmana, actually is where something Krishna is continuing to speak the seventh chapter. Maya asakta mano partha. So, over here, Krishna is not teaching how to control the mind. Krishna is teaching how you should engage your mind in in him. Because generally people try to learn about engaging the mind and controlling the mind. Actually, this chapter, you know, this is a chapter where Krishna actually is uh, is very clearly saying, because in previous two he says many things, Nishkam Karma Yoga, many things talks about that how you can. But over here he is saying very clearly, now you engage your mind in me. Uh, so it is a very it's quite of a where thing Krishna is speaking very directly. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Right? No? So whole the practice that we do of Krishna consciousness actually is to bring one's mind upon Krishna. So so who is a Kanishta, who is a Madhyama, who is a Uttama can be divided on the basis of how much one's mind is fixed on Krishna. Yeah. So, yeah, that's been said. So for Kanishta, it has been said that he must do deity worship, right? No? Yeah, he must do because it is very difficult for Kanishta actually to focus his mind on Krishna. So it's been said he must do it, and then you know, but how he will reach to Madhyama if he kept on. है ना? Because Prabhupada in the first lecture which he has given in this 7.1 about Kanishta Madhyama, the title of the chapter is about Kanishta Madhyama Uttama. So he is speaking about this part. So he says over there, if you're only doing deity worship, very good, but you will not advance in bhakti if you're not hearing. Or you will give up the process of worshipping also if you're not hearing. That's why Krishna is saying, Takshrudu. Another problem. So anyhow, so I'm saying over here that what is the state of one's mind? How much one's mind gets absorbed in Krishna or is absorbed in Krishna's seva, the remembrance. Now one can say who is Kanishta Madhyama and Uttama also. Uh, so then he says, but full and scientific knowledge is the full scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. So anyhow, so this is a statement which will be proven down by Krishna himself, that how when somebody is comes in Krishna consciousness, everything is revealed to him. Phenomenal, numinous, both knowledge will be revealed to him. Nothing else is remains than to be revealed, because everything in this world, as it will go down, is a combination of matter and spirit. Both is known to the person who knows who is in Krishna consciousness. properly. So now Krishna Prabhupada writes different types of yoga.
Different types of Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who directly take One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness they automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestation with paraphernalia.
Continue.
Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravan is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tachrunu, or hear from me. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna and not from a non devotee upstart puffed up with academic education.
Yeah. So now, because he said Mat Kater Antaratmana, Are, is it easy to fix one's mind in Krishna? Because he 6.47 he said, now Krishna is saying that will happen if you hear. You know? If you concentrate mind is met by possibly by performing nine processes of devotional service, but the first and most important is Shravanam, that is where Krishna is beginning Takshunu. You know? So then Prabhupada quotes no series of verses from Bhagavatam, which tells about that how when somebody hears about Krishna, now how the process works and he is actually he actually attains the love of Godhead. So this is a very famous series of shloka. We'll just recite this together. Shranvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridayantastun bhadrani vidonoti shruhitsata नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीः तथा रजस्तमो भाव कामलोभादयश्चे चेतरेतरनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते विद्यते हृदये ग्रन्थि छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः क्षीयन्ति चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. So, okay, read the translation to hear about
Hear
Krishna.
to hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna, from Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes free from the mode of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and av- avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, become enlivened by devotional service, and understand the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead. Therefore,
Continue.
only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna.
So Prabhupada over here very clearly has said that if you hear, he's connecting the entire shloka which he has written about hearing process. That if you hear properly, asamsayam samagram, है ना, असंशय, संशय का नाश हो जाएगा, असंशयम समग्रम, और everything, everything which is required to be known about the absolute truth will be known to you. You know? So, no, my dear Arjuna, this is the process. This is what he is saying. That's why he is concluding it, saying, therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. You know? So, this particular, this particular thing which is there. Actually, Krishna, see, by following the six stages, one will attain perfection. That's what is a flow within this particular shloka. He says, let us begin from the down, because the although the last word that he is using in this verse is takshunu, but actually it will begin from there only. You know, the process begins from the last word, takshunu. By hearing, what you do, first you hear. What will happen by hearing, sir? Jnanasya samagram. You will know about Krishna properly. We will know Krishna completely, samagram, right now. And when we will know about Krishna properly, then what will happen? Asamshayam. You will free from doubts. And because as the knowledge increases, the doubt decreases, right now. Doubt is nothing but ignorance, right now. To the degree we have ignorance, to that degree we have doubt. And generally we feel doubt means something intellectual doubt. And not just that, because we may give me if to all of you, your voice devotees, if first year ask you about some question about we are not a body, we are spirit soul, you can how we are spirit soul, you can easily prove it, you know but we may not be acting on that level because of the ignorance, and that ignorance is actually the doubt. It is not just intellectually presenting it. you know so the more you hear, what happens? The doubt goes away, assumption. Acha, then what will happen, sir? The doubt decreases, they get clarified, they get removed, they will be purified. Then what will happen? Ashraya. Then we will understand actually who is Krishna, actually Krishna, what it is. You know? So then he will understand, he will have Ashraya of the Lord. Ashraya of the Lord, very beautifully been explained over here, that when we understand actually Krishna. And what is actually understanding Krishna? Suhridam Sarvabhutana. Na? That Krishna is my greatest well-wisher. And he's the ultimate object of my love. So naturally, what I will do, I'll take shelter of him. This one has understood, understood not just intellectually, in his practice he is Ashraya. Na? So first he said, you hear, what will happen to that? Jnanasya samagram. No, so we'll know Krishna properly, and uh, you know and completely, to whatever degree is required for us. Then asamshayam, freedom from doubt, means ignorance. You will take ashraya, because you will understand the Lord is srutam sarva bhutana. Then what will happen, sir? Then we will take shelter of the Krishna, yogam yunjam. Shelter of Krishna. um, it's not just an abstract conception, it is practical. That we practice devotional service, yogam yunjam. Actually, then when ashraya leya bhaje. भजन कैसे होता है सर? आश्रय लेके होता है। तो एक तो आश्रय भक्तों का होता है, एक भगवान का भी इधर आश्रय का मतलब है। तो फिर योगम युंजम, जब ऐसा होगा, जब ऐसा भक्ति करेगा वो, तो आसक्त मनः, then what happens by practice is of devotional service, his mind becomes attached to Krishna. So please understand, hearing is the beginning, right? Na? And we should know hearing should lead to understanding Krishna. Means his, what is the meaning of understanding Krishna? His greatness and his sweetness. Krishna will speak down right now. His greatness and sweetness. Uh, and then, uh, okay, what is the meaning that he is actually understanding his greatness and sweetness? His ignorance is dispelled. Is freed from doubt. So ignorance is dispelled means he actually in his, it will be very clear, uh, he will walk the philosophy in his life, not just talk the philosophy. He'll walk on the philosophy. Then he will have ashraya. Means, oh, then he will actually, that's the meaning, that he will understand Krishna is a Vandi Suhridin. He's my greatest well wisher. All other may be small, small shruhit to me. But this is my actually greatest well-wisher, and that is why I should take shelter of him. And then a person, yogam yunjam. Oh, he shelter of Krishna, he takes it very solidly. He practices devotional service very solidly. Then what? Asakta manha. So in this way, to the six stages, one will attain perfection. That's what Krishna is saying. So the goal is asakta manaha. That's why I said to you, Kanishta Madhyam Uttama can also be defined into the category of asakta manaha. किसका मन कितना भगवान में लगा है. So when we hear about Krishna, what happens by hearing about Krishna is asakta manaha. So one should look for that. You know, that is why we it's been said. See, some people can become maybe asakt manaha in for a some period for time um, by hearing 1 hour of a lecture, and same lecture can be heard by another devotee. His mind can be absorbed in Krishna for a day. So you can that is also shows who is actually advanced from previous times. And some people, they hear nothing functions in their mind, nothing enters, very hard skin, है ना, हार्ड स्किन है उसका, घुसता ही नहीं. तो ठीक है, और लगे रहो, करते रहो, अच्छे से सुनो, अच्छे अ, सही वक्तों से सुनो, है ना. और क्यों, कैसे समझ में आया कि मेरा सुनना इज गेटिंग वेरी एक्चुअली आई एम हियरिंग प्रॉपरली. दिस सीरीज इट शुड हैपन. शृणु प्यास्यसि समग्रम् असंशयम् आश्रयः योगं युञ्जन् आसक्तमनः. You know, so this should happen. So Krishna actually is speaking over here about like that. So when that is why Yogina Upi Sarvesham, when he ended, when he was speaking about Mat Gate Rantaratmana, he has he is very uniquely, he is saying that the unique quality of your own devotee, he is saying very clearly, is that he's absorbed in, his mind is absorbed and he has faith. So somebody may ask, hey, what type of devotee is he? He is absorbed in mind and his faith, because Krishna says, Madgatar antaratmana shraddhavan. What kind of a devotee? One would expect that he is qualified. Very much. Actually, no, it's been said uh, that realization will occur gradually in proportion to the intensity of the worship that he is doing. It is not that only people who has gyan and vigyan is only will have absorbed in mind and faith in you. Then said to the degree his intensity of worship is. uh, Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir anyatra cha no tushti pushti shuddhapayo anughasam. So in that shloka is very clear. To the degree one is, his intensity is high. His intensity of worship, will is proportional to his realization. So that's what's been said. So that's why this is about this shloka talks about Ananya Bhakti. you know. And Krishna is saying to Arjuna about this shloka because he is Ananya Bhakta of the Lord. Uh, So you will absolutely you will come to know everything about me, Samagram, and all those. It means very clearly he's been speaking. So so this is what is the actually uh, has been said in this particular shloka. Maya asakta, mind completely absorbed in me. You will understand very clearly. You will take mad ashrayah. Also it means to in a perfected stage for Arjuna, it means that you will take shelter of me in either dasya, sakhya, vatsalya, or madhurya, mad ashrayah, and you will engage yogam yunjam, in me, engage himself, you will engage yourself in bhakti yoga with practices as surrender and should listen attentively to what I'll say now. So Krishna is saying he's beginning ना भगवत गीता का ये सेक्शन. So यहाँ से बोल रहे हैं मेरे से अच्छे से सुनो अभी. अच्छे से सुनोगे सब हो जाएगा. हाँ. तो वैसे ही इसलिए it is also applicable on us. If we hear it properly, it will all that is to be understood will be known and will attain the perfection. But one has to know hearing is the beginning. And hearing has to continue, you know, but it should lead to, to the series which has been spoken by Krishna in the 7.1. That's what we said. Next sloka. Today, I may not be able to cover much. There's a very famous, there's a very important one. This is 7.1. As we'll go ahead, let's see how the speed continues. Now 7.2, bro. In the last 5 minutes, I'll give you 4 questions. 7.2. Yes. Please read 7.2. We'll recite together. Jnanam te aham savignanam idam vivakshami aseshatah yajñātvā neham bhūyo gyātva avyayam avishyashyate. Read it.
I shall now declare you unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. These being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purport. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the fourth chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes and the only object of meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing becomes unknown. The Vedas, Mukanda Upanishad says, Kashminyo Bhagavo Vijayante Sarvam Idam Vigyantam Bhavati.
Hmm. Okay. So now now you may say what is phenomenal and numinous. Phenomenal means, Jnanam has been said as a phenomenal knowledge. It means the material, uh, the matter. Numinous means the spiritual. That's why Prabhupada writes this particular first line that complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, material world, the spirit behind the spiritual, and the source of both of them. Right? Na? So Prakriti, the matter, the spirit, and the Ishvara. Right? No? The source of both of them. This is the complete knowledge. And you will, Krishna is saying, I shall declare to you this full knowledge I'm going to speak to you. You will come to know everything about matter, spirit, the controller of both of them. So here, now, actually, when he is speaking this verse, uh, is also about, saying that uh, my power, which is very well explained, seen in this material world as a phenomenal, my sweetness in the spiritual world, which is well known, you will come to know everything. I'll explain to you everything, my dear Arjuna, my knowledge of my power and knowledge of my sweetness. Right? Na? So Gyan and Vijnana can also be said as that. Prabhupada over here is very kindly telling to us that knowledge of the phenomenal world, the material world, the spirit behind the spirit, the jivas, and the source of both of them will be known. That is also a complete knowledge. That is truth. So uh, actually, the Lord praises the knowledge that He's right now in this sloka. The Krishna is actually making an advertisement or praising the knowledge which he is going to present to Arjuna in this section of 7 to 12, chapter 7 to 12. So he's actually praising, and he's saying and he's promising, understanding this knowledge, which I have promised to speak, what will happen? Knowledge of both, concerning my swarupa, the cause of everything, and which should be the actual object of meditation. Uh, nothing else will remain to be known by you. Who are inquisitive about and who are absorbed in the highest path. For these people, since everything else is included in this knowledge, so those who are inquisitive, they should come to me and hear about this knowledge which I am going to present to you. So that's what he is saying very clearly, that because before one attains maya asaktah, attaining the state of attachment to me, devotee understands the jnana about my power. And after that, he realizes my sweetness. So this is what just now what I am reading is actually by is spoken by uh, our Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he says very clearly that before one attains the stage of attachment, actually first the devotee understands the power of the Lord, the power which he exhibits in this material world, phenomenal, and then he realizes after that he realizes the sweetness of him. And knowing this, you nothing else to be known to be known. And nothing else remains to be known. That's what he's saying. So now he is actually had made an advertisement over here that what happens to you, what uh, what awaits you, my dear. And then in from here now he is going to say, Krishna next he says, who is qualified to receive this knowledge? Right? Na? So, who is qualified? The qualification to receive the knowledge is been spoken in the third verse, which will try to, let's see how much we can do it today. So he says the third verse. Over here. Yeah, is visible to you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Uh, together we'll say it. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchid yatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam Kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Yeah, read the translation.
Out of many thousands, among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Purport.
Just wait. Just wait. Purport where I have highlighted, I want to show you that. Highlighted over here. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, from here you read the purport.
There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is self, what is body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, and hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and discrimination of self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna.
Wait. So, Prabhupada is saying, Are Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Among thousand, some fellows only rise above the tendency of just being engaged in eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. सब एनिमल प्रोपेंसिटी में ही लगे हुए हैं and only few rise above. वो ऊपर उठ कर देखता है, अरे कुछ है क्या इससे भी ऊपर, right ना? So so they have few people only. You go in the world, you talk about Krishna, they say, क्या बोल रहा है? It's all Greek and Latin for them. Because they are absorbed. They're also absorbed. I'm only absorbed in animal propensities. So they are not qualified. You have to understand this verse in that flow. So who is qualified? Those who are actually looking. who is sufficiently interested in transcendental realization. What is that? The self. He knows what he's looking for, understanding the self, the absolute truth. And he can understand this knowledge. And that is truth. That is truth. Because because even if a scholar is there, he may have done a PhD, but he is not looking for understanding actually what is the body, what is the absolute truth. uh, his main focus is just to do his PhD, and an aim of life is to be engaged in animal propensities. He can't understand. He may complete his PhD, but he can't understand, sir. One who is actually looking for. So that is why, so one who is looking for Krishna can understand, about these things. That's a qualification Krishna has spoken. So Manusha Nam Sahasreshu, very out of thousand, one out of many thousand, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who achieved perfection, hardly one knows main truth. So those who are endeavoring for perfection, in some of in among them, some will achieve perfection. And among those who will achieve perfection, hardly one of them will know main truth. So 1000 तो एनिमल प्रोपेंसिटीज में है, उसमें से एक ऊपर उठेगा, बोलेगा कुछ है क्या ऐसे ऊपर, हाँ वन में endeavor for moksha. And some people may achieve, and some of them who are endeavoring for perfection, only one of them may achieve the perfection, and that too, they may attain perfection in terms of emerging into Brahman and all those things. Hardly one knows main truth. So, what is the meaning of knowing what is the qualification? Question is because this is a verse which Krishna says, who is qualified to understand this knowledge? Oh, actually, one who has accepted bhakti as the highest process. And who bhakti as the highest process means what? You know, uh, my dear Lord, he has understood that perfection of my life is when I worship you, and there's nothing else what is to be looked for. Uh, he is very clear. So that person will come to know actually about this knowledge very nicely. Read bro, Sripad Shankaracharya.
But Shankaracharya, yeah, Deepak Shankaracharya has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman.
That's why I said to you, that, even those who may attain perfection also, but of impersonal, they won't come to know. Read ahead, no?
Although
Although,
non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized person without knowledge of bhakti may be easy. But when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulation, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muyanti yat surya yaha, mam tu vedana kaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then sa Mahatma Sudurlava. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, Tattvataha, even though one is a great scholar or philosopher.
yeah. So that's what Robert very, very profoundly has mentioned very clearly that when Krishna is speaking about this verse, it is very clear. What about philosophical, speculative scholar philosophers? These people anyway, they can't understand it because Prabhupada is writing. They say bhakti to path to be very easy. Actually, no, it is easy. It's easy, but Prabhupada writes at one place, it's easy for simple people, and complex for people who are not so simple. So, and Prabhupada is actually saying it is not easy for sure because such simple people are very rare. So, and why it becomes difficult when people start to practice? Because, hey, to follow regulations, factually according to rules and regulation, it's very tough for people. Those who are not so simple. Uh, they will try to jump, they will try to jump, about bhava bhakti straight rather than sadhana bhakti. Uh, there is a why to, इतना rules and regulations क्यों साधना भक्ति में? कौन पालन करेगा? So they actually they fall away from the path. They will fall away from the path means what? They may start doing bhakti, ekant ki hari bhakti. Ekant ki hari bhakti means, utpate vaya kalpate. This ekanta ki hari bhakti is what? Is a bhakti which is actually is not following actually the process of process which has been spoken in Shruti, Smriti, and Purana Adi. No, basically, he is now doing the bhakti on his own whimsical way. They becomes a disturbance in the society. Anyhow, I end over here. I'm not going to speak to or the part of which I want to more explain on this shloka. We'll continue from tomorrow. It's already time, so I don't know whether you have question answer time or you. What do you say, Tejasvi? Tomorrow we'll begin with question answer. If somebody has actually anybody has question, you raise your hand. Then I understand. You want to ask something then. Okay, Kaushik Prabhu alone. So, but I'll end of Kaushik Prabhu, you hold your question. Tomorrow we'll begin with your question. So let us end on time. I have to also rush for Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. My humble request is ये क्लास को भक्ति शास्त्री क्लास को नॉर्मल मत दीजिए। आगे भगवत गीता कभी पढ़ेंगे कि नहीं मुझे पता नहीं। और ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि व्हेन यू आर रीडिंग इट अहेड भगवत गीता यू यू फील पढ़ा था नहीं कि हमने कि नहीं। माय रिक्वेस्ट इज by your own self, by your own, also you should read the book which is being covered in your Bhakti Shastri by your own also, very properly. Then you will feel हाँ भक्ति शास्त्री किया है हमने। नहीं तो चला जाएगा समय। फिर जब कोई बाहर में बोलेगा ये भी लिखा है भगवद गीता में, आपने कहाँ लिखा है भगवद गीता में? जब पढ़ा तो पढ़ा नहीं। ओके, जस्ट माय रिक्वेस्ट टू यू ऑल। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you.
Thank you.